Okay, so we're going to open up a simple After Effects project. You will be supplied with this. So it is activity 221 start. And if you have a look here, it's just got one layer in the composition here, and it's a simple animation. If I just take it back here and press the play button, it's just a bouncing ball. So if I want to change the composition settings, because I've deliberately made the composition settings kind of very old school here, like for standard definition TV. So let's say we want to make this work smoother and for HD TV and so on. So what you need to do is you can either select the composition here in the project panel, so it's called Comp 1 at the moment, or you can just click down here where it says Comp 1, and this is where the composition is open. And I'm going to go to my menu and say Composition, Composition Settings. And here's where I can change the settings. This is the same dialog box you'll get when you create a new composition. So I'm going to give it a name. It's always a good idea to make your compositions meaningful. So I'm going to call it Bouncing Ball. And then I'm going to choose from a preset. So one of the safest presets to use at the moment these days is HD TV 1080, and you can go for 25. That's a pretty safe one to use in Southern Africa because it kind of corresponds with our standard definition TV system as well. So HD TV 1080 25 instead of 29.97, which is more North America, Canada, and Asia. And it's more difficult to work in 29.97 frames per second than 25 frames per second. So HDTV 1080 25, that's 1920 wide by 1080 high. Then everything else is fine except for the duration. I don't want it to be 30 seconds, that's too long. So I'm going to change the duration to 10 seconds, and then I'm going to press OK. Right, so now you can see the composition is much bigger, high definition, and the bouncing ball is kind of in the middle there. So what I want to do is I want to scale this up so that it fits into here. But the problem with doing it the way it is at the moment is that if I start scaling an animation, things can get broken. So what I'm going to do is pre-compose this layer. That's the ball layer. And pre-composing means create a new composition and put this one in there, or take this layer and make a new composition out of it, so that we are actually, instead of having a layer, we've got a composition within a composition. So what happens is the animation from this composition gets kind of baked into almost like a movie before it gets placed into a new composition, and so I can scale it without damaging the animation. So I'm just going to right click on this ball layer and say pre-compose, and I'm going to say move all attributes into the new composition. So all attributes might be effects and things like that, so I'm moving them into the new composition, and I'm going to call the new composition ball 1, for want of a better word. And I don't need to open it because I know what's in it, so I'm just going to say OK. So now you can see in my project panel I have a ball 1 composition. If I double click on it, it looks like what you would expect it to look. And I have a bouncing ball composition, which kind of looks the same because we've got the ball 1 composition inside that bouncing ball composition. But what it means now is that I have the flexibility to do things like scale this animation so that it fits better into this composition. So I'm just going to press S to scale. So you're going to learn all about transforming soon. And I'm just going to scale it up to fit into there, and let's see how it looks now. Okay. Let's go to the bottom. Okay, so maybe I just need to move it down a bit as well. So I'm going to press P for position and change the second value, the Y position, so that it's touching the bottom of the screen. So you can see it's much easier for me to control this because of the fact that all the animation keyframes are in another composition, and that's being baked and sent through to here as like a little movie. So I can't damage the animation in the original one. And one of the beauties with this as well is what I can now do is duplicate that pre-composed composition and use it multiple times. So I'm going to click on that layer and just press Command D on the Mac or Control D on Windows twice, 1, 2, to make 2 copies of that ball. And then I'm going to just change the timing of them a little bit. So I'm going to take the top one, I'll leave okay. The middle one, I'm just going to come across here to where that animation is represented by this brown bar, and I'm just going to drag this brown bar half a second in, and then the bottom one, I'm going to drag that brown bar to a second. Okay, so I'm looking up, whoops, I'm looking up here at a second. So watch what happens now when I play this back. Okay, I've got multiple versions of the same animation playing, and I could even take these and move them across as well. So I could take this, the first one, press P for position and change the X value so that it's moved over to the side there, and then take the last one, press P, move the X value. Whoops, I need to be further on in my timeline to see it. Move the X value so it's over there like that. So now when I play this back, I've got something interesting going on. So what I've done is I've taken one animation, pre-composed it, and then duplicated it so that I have 3 of the same animation timed at different points. Okay, so that's kind of the purpose of pre-composition. It's more complex than that. As you get into more complex animations, you'll learn how important it is to pre-compose things at certain points. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and see you next time.